this is a very, very special evening, and I think you have seen the posters. It's a very special night where we are going to discuss with you on a very, very strategic and important topic. Alright, so 今天我会邀请两位都非常熟悉的大人物。第一个当然就是我们从第一天，你只要是加入这个团队，你就应该认识的，叫做梁总的 ，OK， 大家都叫他 Josh， 我们的全球01。还有另外一个是富而喜悦新加坡团队的001 Andrew，OK， 我认识他3年多。好 ，Josh 跟 Andrew， 你们在场吗？可以开麦开声音吗？
在的，在的，有听到我的声音吗？大家？
哎，听到，哇，听到啊，响亮啊，大哥。
因为买了声卡，所以的话呢，声音会比较好一点。
喂，明天要唱 K 哦。
是啊，就是为了明天唱 K 啊。
哎呀 ，Andrew， 你明天要不要高歌一曲哦
？Andrew 有没有在啊？
过去啊，要不然要 approve 他一下。OK 了，你可以开麦吗？开不到麦，可怜啊。我的主讲嘉宾开不到麦。
呀，你的照片。
他的照片。
Alright, this is Andrew。
这是你的照片。
因为你他的名字 login 刚才。
对。
好 ，OK， 那今天我们可以跟大家分享一下，我认识 Andrew 大概有3年多 ，right？ known Andrew for about 3 years plus，and
就听得到我讲话。
呀，我听得到你讲话，我们当然听得到，你的麦开着的。天哪，你在我外面呢，其实 Andrew 就在我的房间外面哦。像我们真的今天非常荣幸能够请到2位大哥来跟他们谈一谈，除了谈事业，我觉得我们可以真正的好好来聊天，因为我们主办了很多场的这个 OBB 啊，直接谈赚钱，谈产品，谈这个谈那个，但是真的没有让大家来认真的来了解到这位2位新加坡001还有这个全球001 ，alright， 所以我们今天就来聊一聊 ，alright， so tonight we will be talking a little bit more of chit chat and understanding more of the inner bits of these two very special individuals, alright, who have made it in this business, have made the millions, so you are welcome to ask questions, alright， 各位，如果你有什么想问的，来问他们2位的，你可以放在留言区，我会帮你们顺他们，让他们赤裸裸的回答，好不好 ？OK， 喜欢的话就在留言区上放多几个掌声。好，我们首先我想跟大家来探讨的就是梁总，大家知道他把这个泰勒斯做起来这些，但是可能很多人不是很了解他从小到长大的这个过程，他的背景。Right， 他也曾经离乡背景在中国整10年 ，Andrew 也离乡背景从马来西亚在新加坡，我这个就是新加坡人神经病跑去马来西亚去创业做了16年，这个在线上有没有人很期待或者很想了解我们的这个过去呢？有的话请在线上打1，我们看一看有多少人想了解这些为什么我会离乡背景去到这么远的地方去创业去做这些东西，看来也不多嘛。突然间好像很多一下。OK， 好，可能我们来听听老大，当年为什么离乡背景去中国，而且去中国这么久，那边好像每一个省都有你的脚印来跟大家分享一下为什么跑去这么远的地方。可以开麦一下，梁总。
不好意思 ，OK 。大家现在好，但是我现在有听到一些好像风扇的声音啊，你们有听到吗？是谁的麦没有关呢？有吗
？OK， 好了吗？
现在 OK 了。OK， 大家现在好啊。OK， 我是来自马来西亚槟城叫 Josh 应该大家很多人都认识我，对不对？那为什么会离乡背景啊？当时的话呢，这个故事有点长哦。当时的话呢，我是在马来西亚经营了一家公司，然后呢经营不下去，然后呢我的老板呢就跟我说，我们的市场要开到中国啦，那问我要不要过去中国去发展。 那当时的话呢，我们也是有担心的哈，因为第一人生地不熟啊，那边从来没有去过中国，对不对？那边也没有认识一个人呐、所以的话呢，我就尝试咯，但是我的父亲都不愿意让我过去中国去发展啊，因为毕竟我当时的话呢，我应该是30几岁吧，2010年那从来的话呢都没有离开过母亲都是在槟城而已哈，因为都是一路来打工，所以父母亲的话呢都不愿意让我过去，所以的话呢，我也是没有办法，因为呢负担太大了。所以的话呢，就跟着这位老板去到中国深圳第一天我还记得去到第一天的时候呢，没有事情做，那边又不熟很无聊，真的是很无聊。然后呢，就跟了这一位老板。那当时为什么会跟他去？因为这位老板就跟我讲，他说呢，我们所做的中国的业绩你都有5%有得分。那应该大家都知道，中国市场很大，所以的话呢，就尝试过去闯一下。然后呢，没有想到跟着他半年过后业绩真的是有一点点。然后大家知道，中国人都是比较有钱，对不对讲到投资来讲的话呢，他们不是投资500美金、1000美金，他们是投资1万美金，甚至10万美金，甚至是几十万到100万美金的都有，对不对？然后呢，我的这一个 commission 都没有给我，所以的话呢，就感觉到很失望所以的话呢，就有准备，就没有想要再跟他去发展那我们交回给 Jackie 来翻译一下。
Okay, so what George mentioned was more than 10 years ago. He has never left the country and was very reluctant to go to China, but the boss that was working for at the time says, all right, the project in Malaysia cannot be done and they need to go into China. And when they go to China, they did have some results because in terms of investments, China people don't invest 500 or 1,000 US dollars, they invest in tens of thousands and even in millions. And when they get certain good results, after 6 months, George did not get the commissions he was promised, all right, at 5%. So he was starting to get a little bit skeptical and demotivated, right? And he was thinking to shift to other companies or other projects. Yeah. 好，梁董继续吧。
好，那么呢就打算是要离开，但是要离开的话呢，因为没有地方住当时因为我是住在这位老板的家，所以的话呢，当时的话呢，我就刚刚好有接到一位新加坡的一个项目，然后呢，我就偷偷的运作，因为当时在中国已经半年了，这半年里面的话呢，我还记得很清楚我这半年的话呢，回来马来西亚，就是看父母亲的话呢，我看应该没有1个月的时间基本上是长期在中国深圳住的，那还是有去到很多其他的一些城市啦、一些省一些县因为中国是叫省市县的 ，OK， 还有包括一些其他的一些县城 ，OK。所以的话呢，就偷偷的做，然后呢，早上出去去找我的中国一些朋友，因为在那边半年的话呢，有认识中国的朋友，就跟他们沟通，讲说这个新的项目，你们要不要来参与 ？OK， 然后呢，晚上呢就很晚了就回来，因为我这个人的话呢，要么就不做，要做的话呢，就一定要赚到钱一定要赚到钱。我是很努力的一个人我相信很多人都知道。所以的话呢，早出晚归，然后呢，没有想到真的是没有想到，在短短的2-3个星期内，那我的老板就发现到我去做其他公司的然后有一天呢，就跟我讲，他讲 Josh， 我知道你在做其他的公司那么呢，这里的话呢就不方便你在这边睡觉了。他说不方便你在这边睡觉了。坦白讲，我当时我听了的话呢，我都懵了，真的是傻了。不懂怎么办因为呢，刚刚开始才2-3个星期而已，都被老板发现了。然后呢，自己手头上的话呢，也没有什么现金也没有赚到钱所以的话呢，大家知道，如果有去过中国，尤其是深圳这个地方来讲的话呢， 租一个房子哦，2房1厅或者是1厅啊。
Josh 卡机是吗 ？OK， 他卡。Right, so for those of you who needs English translation, I'll just quickly translate. At that time, he got a
他刚刚好住在我的楼下而已，我的楼。
Josh， 你卡机。老大，你卡机。我可能把它 mute 掉一下，看他能不能够回来。Okay, I'll just do a quick translation. At that time, he got a project from Singapore, and secretly he did it. And he left the home early and went back late at night. At that time, he was staying with his boss in Shenzhen, all right, in the same apartment. And within 2 to 3 weeks, the boss found out that he was actually secretly doing another project, all right? So the boss says right now it's not convenient for you to stay with us here. And he doesn't have much cash. And you know that a house in Shenzhen, an apartment in Shenzhen at the time will cost a lot to rent. So he doesn't have much cash, right? So that's the gist of the story until he got into very bad internet connection. So don't worry, 我们来听听下一个我们的。
好了，回来了，我回来了。
你回来了。
回来了。
温回来了。
不好意思，刚刚断线了哈。那讲到的，对，讲到的话呢，就是跟我这个马来西亚朋友说，你要转让的话呢，你不如转让给我 ，OK？ 那么呢，但是你要给我一点时间，可以吗？你要给我1个月到2个月里面，我一定把租金转让费的话呢，都还回给你。刚刚好我遇到马来西亚一个贵人呐，所以说他也帮了我啦，所以的话呢，就转让他的房子就给我住了如果不是他的话呢，我也不知道怎么办好了，因为真的是因为都是很穷因为大家知道去到中国的话呢，都不是有钱带钱过去中国发展都是很穷的，所以这样的情况了。好，接下来我们让 Jackie 翻译。
Okay, so as the story continues, right? Since he didn't have much cash and he needed a house urgently, he managed to find a Malaysia friend in Shenzhen who wants to rent out the house. So he says, okay, I'll rent, but you got to give me time to get the money in order to pay you the rent, right? Because, you know, when you go there to work, you don't really bring a lot of money and prices in Shenzhen are not cheap. So that was one of the people in China at the time who actually gifted the house to George for him to stay. That's why he's able to be here now, otherwise he'll be on the streets. All right. So yeah, that's a very nice story. 来，我们来听一听梁总。
就基本上这样子咯，就慢慢的话呢，经营了这家公司的话呢，也在给我大概2到3个月的话呢，我就把市场做起来了。那做起来的话呢，就赚到一些钱了赚到一些钱。但是呢，因为我做的都是做投资相信很多人都知道。那做投资的话呢，基本上都不会很稳定所以的话呢，就大概有1年多吧，1年多的话呢，就又在寻找其他的公司其他的项目在做了所以的话呢，在中国的话呢，也混了大概有10年了。如果到今年来讲的话，已经是11年了。那我在中国这10年来讲的话呢，是我还就是在我的孩子没有出生的时候，因为我孩子才6岁而已今年才6岁OK， 那我孩子还没有出生的时候呢，基本上如果我在中国深圳来说的话呢，我基本上是1年365天的话呢，大概应该是65天是回来马来西亚而已长期的话呢是住在深圳的但是呢，我有跑到很多，包括广东省广东有很多城市福建山东大连沈阳长春佳木斯太多的城市应该最少去了几十个城市都是这么跑那我还记得有一天我们做项目都是跑市场都是这么飞的大家知道的话呢，中国有火车有动车有快铁，我不知道大家有没有坐过火车是比较慢的 啊，动车呢比较快的 ，OK， 那快铁的话呢是比动车还快的哦。那我可以从呢去坐飞机的时候呢，就坐 bus 去到飞机场，去到飞机场过后呢，到了那边的话呢，又要坐火车，又要坐动车。我跟你讲，那早上飞的话呢，晚上到那边，到那个城市要花1天的时间，因为飞了从南方飞到北方哦。所以的话呢，我还记得说，在整个中国的话呢，我们都是基本上都比较辛苦的，坦白讲哦，因为我去中国的话呢是拼，是要去赚钱哦，不是要去花费。OK， 好，来我们让 Jackie 教练。
Okay, so since he got into the first project, it's an investment project. So you know that investment projects usually are not very stable. And within a year, he started to look for other projects. So in the whole this duration, he was in China for 10 years. And during that time, he came back to Malaysia. But if you calculate the number of days he was in Malaysia, it's only about 65 days, which means that there's about 300 days that he is in China. And he traveled every city. All right, his kid is just 6 years old. So which means that when the child was born, he was still in China, working very hard, traveling to cities after cities. And you know that in China, there's a lot of different modes of transportations, especially the trains. There's different versions where you have the slow trains, the fast trains. So when he travels from the north to the south, east to the west, usually it takes a day. So he can be traveling by train to the airport, and then from the bus, from the airport to another city, he has to go by train. So sometimes within the day, he will be in different cities. And that is how he do whatever it takes to open up the market to make the kind of money needed to support the family back home. So he really went through a lot. I think if you really read the story and understand the story, it is a lot of hard work and perseverance that make him who he is today. And that's the quality of success that we want to talk about. The ability to work hard, the ability to do it more than what other people think, what other people want, and what other people will do. And that's one of the secrets to success, right? So that's a very good story. 两者还有吗？还是要交给 Andrew？
先交给 Andrew 咯，那 Andrew 先啊。
来 ，Andrew 来聊一聊，为什么你这个马来西亚人跑来我新加坡里跟我抢饭碗？为什么你来新加坡？害我可以去马来西亚。
声音很大声啊，听得到吗？大家晚上好啊。我讲一下啊，我是几年过来啊？2001年吧。所以2001年的时候，那时候刚刚读完，我是 JB 的，就读完读中，完中毕业过后就本来是想要去 Australia 读大学吧，但是后来因为可能费用比较高，澳洲的一些费用我们就算一下，我父母亲也是觉得有点高，我就觉得在新加坡读就好，也方便，也就很近嘛。所以我就过来新加坡读，那时候我没有进到新加坡的国立大学或者 NDU、NUS 嘛，所以我就进 Poly， 等读完 Poly 过后就读大学咯，读完大学就顺理成章嘛，就直接就留在新加坡了，因为那时候也拿到永久居民，所以就很自然。那么大多数我的朋友，有些人也是有去到，比如英国啊，去到澳大利亚，或者有去到几个国家去深造的。那么很多人最后啊，我有几个朋友读英国，那么回来过后也是回到新加坡，因为马来西亚可能不大适合我们读中生吧，所以那时候读中生很多人都会选择有些去台湾的啊，那么也有去其他国家，中国的也有。所以最后很多我的身边，尤其是新山的朋友吧，很多就来到新加坡啊。当然那时候的兑换率也是比较好，就不是1对1啊。那么现在1对3了，所以很多人都会选择，因为兑换率的关系，我在马来西亚我赚1万马币哦，但是在新加坡我赚1万新币，所以差距就非常大了，就差了一个3倍啊。当然今天我们在泰勒兹是赚美金。或者我们说我们在新加坡赚欧元，啊，因为是乘以1.6是欧元，那肯定赚美金赚欧元更好，啊，所以我从赚新币啊，现在赚美金或者赚欧元， 所以我每次有说我们做泰勒兹事业真的是太棒了不需要去到欧洲，也不要去到美国，但是我们赚的钱可以是可以赚到这么大的一个奖就单单兑换率来讲，肯定是比较有划算，所以就住在新加坡，一住就住了应该有接近20年了吧，而且长期就住在新加坡。那么在疫情之前是有回去，本来还有想过回去马来西亚发展，那回去7、8个月也不知道要做什么那么那7、8个月也就只做泰赫之水，也没做什么但是真的，一不小心这个泰勒兹事业就做起来了。当然也是要感谢很多我们的大上线我们的董事001 Josh， 因为他的介绍，所以才可以造就我今天的成就。当然也要感谢我们富而喜悦的每一个伙伴，还有我的 partner 在前面他就坐在我前面丽颖我们每次讲丽颖老师真的是非常有大爱的也非常付出还有我们的教练。所以你问我为什么选择新加坡，我认为新加坡是一个相当安稳的地方当然我很喜欢马来西亚，所以我曾经有想过在马来西亚就是常住。那么我也在马来西亚开过公司，我也在马来西亚曾经也就来回，就是新加坡我有公司，马来西亚我也有开，所以那时候来回的时候就真的好累因为我新加坡也有生意，我马来西亚也有生意，那么我马来西亚那时候请了好几个员工，那么就两边跑。后来我觉得我做不到2个生意在跑，2个公司在跑，所以最后我还是回来新加坡就是真正在新加坡发展了，就马来西亚就比较少过去了。
Okay, so for Andrew, what happens is in 2001, after he studies his higher school in Malaysia, they call it Duzhong, which is a Chinese independent school. He wanted to go to Australia, but count here, count there, the father, mother, not enough money, go Singapore, right? So you can see that a lot of people who actually eventually landed in Singapore to study is because not enough money, not that Singapore education is good, all right? So let's be a little bit practical, right? Because it's better and nearer, and seriously, all right, to go overseas. Actually, Singapore is actually not very cheap either, but then in terms of convenience and safety, I think Singapore is really a very, very good place to study, to stay. And after his poly, he got his PR, so he naturally stayed in Singapore to work. And even though he wanted to go to US, because some of his friends are in US and UK, but then many of them, when they came back, they decided to come to Singapore to work, because in Malaysia, the rate that they get as employees are ridiculously low, all right? So the exchange rate was good. Now the exchange is 1:3. He's now, even in terahertz, is making Sing dollars or equivalent to euros. So the exchange rate is 1.6. Now, all these are the reasons why he stayed in Singapore, but basically because Singapore has been a place where he studied, he worked for the last 20 years. So before the pandemic, already during the pandemic, last year he went back, or rather the year before that, which was, I think, somewhere around Chinese New Year, he went back to Malaysia, right, and they stayed there for 7 to 8 months. In fact, at that point in time, I called him. I had an office in Mid Valley in Johor. All right, we were there 8 months, but we never met each other except once in Mid Valley after his lunch with his family. I managed to catch him, all right, and we had a chit chat. That's it, all right. So actually, we are not very close before this, all right. We were just hi-bye friends, and I just wanted to catch up because I had quite a lot of time and I was doing my business in Johor. So at that time in time, he did nothing but only terahertz water, right? He already lepak lah. I think in Malaysia they call it lepak, all right. In Chinese, 无所事事, right? So that was his life, right? Driving around, walking around, doing nothing except sharing some water. And that's really because George has actually recommended him. But really, in Singapore, his partner, Lydia, all right, which is our good friend and good partner and very, very studious and hardworking partner, Lydia, was the one that was doing everything in Singapore, all right, while he was making the money there. Yeah, something to think about, all right. Andrew, you better buy one Rolex watch for her. Yeah. So during that time, actually, Andrew had also had companies in Singapore and Malaysia and had staff on both sides, but he couldn't manage, so he decided to close down the Malaysia companies and focus in Singapore. So that had been done for the last 20 years, right? So I think he's one of those that from Malaysia came to Singapore. Josh from Malaysia went to China. Me from Singapore went to Malaysia. You can see that this pattern of us moving overseas, right, is one of the very important common thing that you see in many entrepreneurs, right? 也就是说，你可以看到很多企业家都是能够离乡背景去创业的， right？ 这是我觉得也是很多企业家、很多人要做生意必须要思考的一个问题。你要成功，有些时候未必在你自己的国家能够做到最成功的。你有发现到吗？其实 Apple、Samsung 这些都是能够得到国际性的认同，都很少都在他们国家能够被他们的人民认可的，甚至是华为，你看也是在很多外国的地方认可，才回到他们的国家被认可的。所以这个是你们可能要去思考的一个问题，你的事业要带到哪里，需要从哪里启发？我觉得这是一个最基本，大家必须要去谈一谈的。OK， 好，所以大概听了我们三个人的一个过去，接下来可能我们就要聊一聊，你对成功的定义是什么？你怎么看待成功？我觉得这是一个大家都想知道的 ，right？ 所以可能两种，我现在由 Andrew 来看一看啦，听一听30多岁的，这是最年轻的百万富翁，你怎么看待成功？是赚了100万才算成功吗？还是身边有20个美女才算成功？还是要有一个丽影那种马上可以让你成功的才算成功？
讲到美女
OK，
今天整班都是美女，在我
你外面很享福哦，整班美女哦，
整班美女，大家没有看到。
Yeah, the rose among the
我身边没有
thorns。
一个男的，除了 Jackie 一个在房间之外，我们这里整班都是美女。
所以你没有看我，
所以这个也算是很成功的一件事情可以被全部的美女围绕，这个太幸福了，对吧？当然，我们每次说嘛，就是自己成功没什么了不起，对不对？但是可以帮助很多人的成功，这才是真正的了不起。所以就好像我们讲，我们自己健康，其实也没什么，因为这个只是自己的一个本分嘛。但是如果你要让全家人健康，甚至身边的每个朋友都健康，哇，那么你就非常的优秀，非常的棒。所以我们做泰勒兹事业不只是可以帮得到自己也可以帮得到全家人，甚至身边的每一个朋友。所以我觉得成功它是一个路程嘛。那么我们做事业的，我们做生意的，我们讲成功在传统生意，确实很多时候可能是必须要踩在人家的生意上面才能成功。但是我们这个事业确实是不需要，而且是帮越多人成功，甚至你的团队里面有更多人比你成功的话，那么你自己就更成功了，对不对？所以我是每次觉得重要是有一群志同道合的人一起来做这个事业，那么大家一起拥有着健康或者我们讲富而喜悦。富就是说我们一起有财富，而且有健康、有幸福、有快乐的人生因为我们不只是要有钱嘛，有钱不是一个终极目标，重要的是我们可以有很开心、很幸福的过一个生活，那么全部人开开心心，这个才是很关键的所以我觉得要在一起就是一个很非常能够跟对方可以帮助更多人健康，也是一个非常幸福的一个事情。
Okay, so what Andrew shares is the way he looks at success is you need to help more people to be successful, all right, to achieve what you are able to achieve. I think that's the main key of success because it's not a result, it's a journey. In this journey, when you help more people to be healthy, to be successful, not like in traditional business, where in traditional business you have to step on others or you can kill others in order for your business to survive, right? That's how traditional business is. That's what we call red ocean, right? Which has been there since day one, since business has been developed. You have to be the one that can be the dominating one, big enough to so-called kill off your competitions, right? But in this business that he found in Terahertz, you can have a group of people who have the same vision, same action, and his team same for us here with abundance of joy is really the result of having abundance and be happy at the same time. You can, if you have money and you're not happy, then what's the point of being rich? All right, but some people, they are happy, but they are broke. All right, so we do not want people to come into this kind of environment. We want people to be happy and rich. So that is the result of the whole essence of being successful, right? To have a community of people that will really be successful with you. All right, so that's the essence of what you share. 这样来，老大，你怎么样看待成功？在中国，我相信你对成功的定义可能跟我们比较不一样，因为中国的文化企业，我相信跟我们普通在这种新加坡、马来西亚真的很不一样。你有什么想法？
好，那去了中国的话呢，看到真的中国呢跟其他的国家现在真的是完全不一样哦。当时呢还没有去过中国的时候呢，就觉得说很多人讲中国很落后啦，中国很肮脏啦，很多方方面面啦。但当我过去的时候呢，就不是这样子了。我去的时候呢，就真的是很惊讶哦。当时我去的时候是11年前啊，11年前的时候呢，已经算很不错了，很好了。大家应该都知道了。那如果是有去过中国的人都知道，他们所有的东西，包括他们的一些建筑啦，包括一些交通啦，包括一些所谓的一些生意的话呢，都是很豪华的。你很少会看得到哦。包括你去到一些县城市啊，就是3、4线的城市，就是比较低级的一些城市，就像我们马来西亚，像伯利沙像吉兰丹啊，像丁加奴的话呢，这属于是我们马来西亚比较落后的一些州属，对不对？但是在中国来讲的话呢，他们随便的一个城市来讲的话呢，都比我们的吉隆坡还豪华。他们所有的交通啊，各个方面来讲都是很大。OK， 所以的话呢，去了中国的话呢，完全是不一样的感觉了哈。加上的话呢，如果有去过中国，因为很多人都讲，这个好的产品呢，或者是一些好的投资啦，肯定去到中国的话呢，一定是很好赚钱的哈。在这里的话呢，可能有一些人没有去过中国，可能去中国了，你们是去游玩啊，去吃风哦。那我们是去发展哦。如果有机会，你们可以到中国去发展事业的。OK， 我敢跟你讲，你如果没有带10万现金去的话呢，我建议你不要去。因为呢，中国的消费开销真的是很高我们去的那边我们都知道虽然中国市场很大，但是呢，他们那边所谓叫耗油真的是很耗因为呢，你不是请他，就像我们马来西亚在咖啡厅kopitiam嘛，你请他喝一杯咖啡，我们就可以谈生意了在中国不行在中国你要请他喝一杯咖啡，你要最少要到咖啡厅20-30块马币。但是呢，基本上在那边谈事情的话呢，基本上都不会成交的，因为他们会看你怎么请我喝一杯咖啡而已吗？不是的你最少在那边的话呢，你要请他们吃饭，一吃饭的话呢，最少都要800到1000块马币。OK 如果再加上喝酒喝酒还不用紧，还加上卡拉 OK 有时候卡拉 OK 还没有完还要去夜总会那个还有很多。所以的话呢，你在那边的话呢，如果你要去做市场的话呢，我建议大家真的是要有本钱才能去那边会比较好一点除非你找的那些比较 OK 的人的话呢，就 OK 了。所以的话呢，在那边的话呢，真的我去那边真的花钱的话呢，坦白讲，对我来讲，以现在呢，我回来马来西亚我已经算是麻木了 ，OK， 没有什么感觉了，你明白是吧？因为我们之前的话呢赚很多，那也花很多。所以的话呢，在马来西亚真的我发现到最近我这21个月在马来西亚做市场，做泰俄兹市场的话呢，感觉到很轻松。为什么？因为虽然我们也是有赚了很多，但是呢，我们开销很少开销真的是很少如果在中国来讲的话呢，真的我跟你讲，你赚越多，可能你花越多这个呢真的是不一样所以我们在那边呢，在中国的话呢，也赚了蛮多的。所以的话呢，对中国人来讲的话呢，他们是比较看重这一个啦，想要赚比较快的所以的话呢，你会发现到中国的一些项目啦，一些所谓的盘的话呢，都在中国的话呢做的比较好 OK， 马来西亚的话呢，就投资$100啊、$500、$1000比较多啊，所以的话呢，我也曾经赚了蛮多一下啦啊，但是因为我们就是没有去想啊，因为当时呢赚很多的时候呢，没有老婆孩子，所以的话呢就没有一个人会帮我们去 guide 我们啊，你明白是吗？所以的话呢，我们就可能乱花，就花了没有了。所以的话呢，在中国呢也是做了很多几个项目了，不多几个项目，那起起落落啊，我还记得我曾经的话呢，有一年的时候呢很穷啊，妈妈叫我回来了，你赚不到钱了，你都没有给家用了啊，为什么你还不回来？我坚持不回来啊，在那边的话呢，每一天就是熬炒饭、炒面啊，一天都是吃几块钱了，因为中国最少你一餐的话呢，都要算起来的话呢，马币最少都要10块钱。最少啊，一个人啊，最少啊，没有加咖啡饮料这些东西哈，单单吃饭吃面而已哈，能吃饱的话呢，大概就要10块钱了。在马来西亚你吃一个经济饭，可能2块钱、3块钱已经吃得饱了，对不对？但是在中国不行哦，很少啊，所以的话呢，不一样的感觉啦。所以的话呢，自从做了泰赫兹过的话呢，就真的是蛮轻松啊。但是呢，在这里我们看到什么东西呢？就是说。第一，我们可以帮到很多人健康哦，就是尤其是我们全家人都得到了健康啊，所以最近你会发现到我们经常都有听到微信也好，我们的这一个Zoom 的直播也好，都有很多人都在分享他们的见证，他们都说他们用了我们的泰尔之水，让他们的全家人健康。这个的话呢，我们听了的话呢，我们心里很有感触，然后呢也很开心。为什么呢？因为我们真的是可以帮到很多人。所以的话呢，我们的水仪又可以发展到全世界各地。所以的话呢，大家都知道，现在尤其疫情的期间来讲的话呢，最重要是我们的健康啊，这个是很重要啊，真的是很重要。OK， 所以的话呢，健康有了健康，那我们也要有财富啊，对不对？也要有这个啊。如果没有 money 来讲的话，坦白讲，我们就很难维持下去啊。因为我们尤其很多人在这个疫情期间啊，坦白讲，这个疫情期间的话呢，已经让很多人呢真的是破产啊，有一些已经倒闭啦，有一些公司倒闭啊，没有办法关啦，没办法开啦，包括有一些人工作都没有办法上，已经失业了，很多人都在失业了，对不对？收入也是受影响啊。但是还好的话呢，我们的会员、我们的伙伴的话呢，加入泰赫兹的话呢，真的是改变它，不单单是健康的问题，还有财富的问题啊。那我们要有健康又要有财富啊！刚才我们的家辉董事也有提到，要有健康又有财富，还要什么？还要开开心心哈！所以的话呢，我们在这里的话呢，也再跟大家讲一下，为什么我们做一个歌友会啊？我们明天晚上啊，大家记住我们明天晚上7点我们做一场歌友会，就是为了让大家在我们这一个大家庭里面都能得到开开心心啊！这个是一个娱乐的环节。所以你们可以邀请你们很多新的朋友啊，不管是认识的还是不认识的，包括 Facebook 的陌生朋友、亲朋戚友啊，来听一下我们唱歌啊，我们唱歌我们明天会献很多首歌啊，我们我们这几天都在排练啊，都在试音试唱啊 ，OK 啊，所以明天我们的节目会很丰富啊，所以我们希望说呢，大家能够踊跃参与，邀请更多朋友来看我们的这一个 Zoom 的直播。这个的话呢，也是一个偶然的话呢，给我一个灵感，然后呢就想到这一个直播这个直播 OK， 那这个直播呢是很特别，因为大家都知道因为尤其现在我们尤其是马来西亚啦，不管是马来西亚现在马来西亚虽然是很严重今天还是大概2万左右嘛，对不对？但是新加坡还好现在台湾呢已经算蛮开放啦。但是就算开放来讲的话呢，如果让你跟你的朋友聚会去唱卡拉 OK 的话呢，我相信你都不敢我们也不敢。为什么？因为唱歌那个麦克风肯定有很多的口水都是细菌对不对？所以的话呢，我才想到说，要不的话呢，我们就开一个 Zoom 做直播，让所有全国各地、全世界各地人都聚中在这一个 Zoom 里面，然后呢，可以享受一下。因为呢，发现到很多人很喜欢唱歌，那很多人的话呢，也很喜欢听歌，所以你会发现到在 Facebook 很多人做这个直播的话呢，都有很多人在看的，因为太多人喜欢听歌，喜欢看这个唱歌的节目 所以我们会举办这一个活动的话呢，也是让我们的家人放松一下啊，不是说一定要讲赚钱啊，讲产品啊，讲见证啊，讲这些东西啊。所以我们明天就是讲什么？就是讲开开心心来娱乐。那如果说明天你听到有一些歌让你很兴奋的话呢，你也跳起舞来好不好？我们大家一起跳舞，在线上跳舞不是在线下跳舞了，对不对？所以的话呢，这个是一个娱乐的一个节目，所以我们希望说呢，大家踊跃参与一下，好不好？所以的话呢，我们要有赚钱，要有健康，也要开开心心，所以的话呢，才会让更多人喜欢我们这一个平台我们这一个平台是跟外面的一些平台的话呢是与众不同的，我们真的不一样我们真的不一样，好不好？好，那我们由 Jackie 翻译一下。
你讲很多就好像一下子翻译我，以为你讲这么多，以后不要大哥，你以为我是神啊？
你可以的，你可以，我知道你可以的
我问你一句，你讲这么多，我讲翻。OK， 好，翻一下。今天我们是轻松的聊天了你会发现今天的气氛比较不一样。Okay, China is not the same. All right, a lot of people have the perception that China is very backwards. And 11 years ago, when George went there, it was already very good, very advanced, right? If you have been there, you will know that a lot of their things, buildings, transport structures are very grand. And personally, when I first time went to Shenzhen, all right, there's this place, just the overhead bridge itself is like 3 lanes that big. And the people that cross the overhead bridge in PL is like ants, it's crazy. So in China, everything is big. And even if you go to some cities in China, they call it the 3rd or 4th line cities, they are already much better than whatever they have in KL, but not as good as Singapore. Singapore is still the best. All right. Yeah, they are big. And for some projects, right, as what George says, it's very good to bring it to China because you will sure make a lot of money because of the population there, the mindset there, they want things big, all right? And just for your information, in Shenzhen, I'm not too sure if it's still there, and I think George will really know about it. One of the spas that I went to, my brother brought me there, 5 stories. People come in, check in with luggage, stay there 24/7. They don't need a hotel, right? It's a spa, 5 levels. You eat, shit, shower, everything there is better than a hotel, and you're fully serviced. So that's the kind of environment that you have in China. So, and if you go to China to do business, if you travel is differently, but you go to China, it's very expensive when you do business. Why? You need at least 100,000 because when you want to strike a deal, right, you have to spend a lot of money. If you just invest in a coffee, all right, which costs ringgit about 20 to 30 ringgit, and in the coffee house and cafes, you most likely will not get a deal. You have to entertain them, eat, drink, karaoke, and sometimes nightclub, and pay for all the ladies, so that you need to spend the money. And I still remember when my brother had his birthday party in Shenzhen, right? He brought his family, his wife, and the 2 kids there. I was there. He has to entertain 3 tables, each table with 15 dishes. I said in Singapore, we have 10 dishes, we can't finish. They ordered 15 dishes, and every dish is so big. So it's a very different environment that you have in China. So that's the kind of culture. And he managed to survive there and make money. So he was also sharing. He made a lot, but spent a lot because at the time he wasn't married. All right. And when you have no wife and no kids as a man, I tell you, you spend on things that you know doesn't really give you good returns. All right. But in Malaysia, in the last 21 months, in the terahertz business, it was very happy, very relaxed because it spent very little. Because right now got wife, got kids, right? Especially girls are 2 women at home controlling 1 man. Very dangerous, you know? Yeah. So yeah, that's the kind of different culture, right? Because in China, really seriously, in business, the more you make, the more you spend. You don't have any way out. In China, they say 烟酒烟酒又烟又酒, right? That's the culture even till today, right? So in China, there's a lot of very good prospects for many, many projects. But when you go there, you really, really spend a lot. So in one of the years when he was in China, all right, because of the projects that went up and down, all right, made it, lost it, and spent a lot. There was 1 year he was very broke, and the mom asked him, why don't you just come back? You know, since you're broke, I think you can get a job in Singapore, but or rather Malaysia, he says no, right? He's going to stay there and strike it out. And during that time, he was so broke that he only need noodles, fried noodles and fried rice. And in China at that time, to get a proper meal, you need about 10 ringgit per meal. All right, well, in Malaysia, you can get a normal economic rice for 2 to 3 ringgit. In Singapore, that's about the same price as well. So it's not easy, all right, in that kind of circumstances. And I think one of his success story is really he has been broke before, and is very honored to know that he has gone through it, and today he's really a multi-millionaire, all right, in this business. So he also stressed that in Terahertz, he's very relaxed because you help a lot of people in their health, in their wealth. You get a lot of good friends who believe and you are doing things clean. You don't need to go overboard, undercut and things like that. So when you see a lot of testimonials in the Zooms, in the channels, in the Telegrams, WeChat, it's very happy because that is the essence of being successful, to be able to help more people at the lowest cost. And this thing can actually even go international. So in this pandemic, a lot of people went bankrupt. Some lost their jobs. Most of his partners who are in Terahertz actually made more money in this pandemic than they ever did before the pandemic. So it's a very, very blissful project. And he stressed on this thing. All right, we are seeing the share screen. Tomorrow night is the first ever International Music Carnival night. All right, where Josh loves to sing. All right, he's a child that loves to sing. In fact, I love to sing too. Just that I'm a little bit better than Liu Dehua lah. That's it. All right, so don't expect me to sing. All right, yeah. So tomorrow night is going to be a night where you can come in the Zoom. Tomorrow night is pure entertainment. Right, after you make the money, after working so hard, with the pandemic so serious in Malaysia, all right, we just need to relax. So we invite everyone, Chinese, English, Malay, Hokkien, Spanish, whatever songs you like to sing, just come in and enjoy yourself, and you will like it. You can sing and dance at the same time. So tomorrow night, Zoom 7 p.m., no OPP, no product, just open your mouth, sing and dance, all right? Just enjoy this event that we have created for you. I think it's something very, very enjoyable, all right? We're all looking forward to it, all right? So 好，所以在这里就谈到 ，OK， 我们现在知道梁董在中国是有一段所以很辛苦的日子，我们来听一听我们的 Andrew 这位帅哥，你有没有辛苦过啊？有没有破产过啊？我们来听一听 ，OK？ 哎 ，Andrew 在吗？
哦，对呀，在呀，在呀，刚才在聊天，聊得很开心。我听你们聊天也聊得很开心哦。
不过你不要像他这样，我问你一句，然后你讲了几百句，然后要我翻译哦，你那很过分的。
我要讲你的问题是有没有很破产啊？大叔还没有破产。大叔不要破产。没有啦，我是有啦。那时候在新加坡读书的时候啊，当然可能我父母亲那时候也没有给我很多钱哦，那么可能我也不想跟他们拿，主要也不是说他们不给，是我自己不想拿。那么我就全部的那些费用基本上都是自给自足嘛。那么我就觉得要独立了，因为已经18岁了。18岁就应该独立，那么就来到新加坡，基本上我也蛮省吃俭用的。就是以前我们坐巴士，我为了省6毛钱，以前好像我坐巴士大概6毛吧，还是7毛，为了省6毛到7毛钱，我就走半个小时的路去学校，来回就花了1个小时多的时间，有时大热天就这样子来回。那么后来就做另外一家公司，直销公司，那时候也不会做了1整年，可能赚不到几千块吧。我们那时候做的时候真的是很惨的那时候不像现在，那时候做直销好像是因为新加坡成立直销真正合法是1999年，那时候我是2001年嘛，所以他那时候还不算属于很多人不知道，或者都认为他是金字塔或者老鼠会。所以做的会比较辛苦，而且那时候我又没有什么朋友嘛，在新加坡，所以基本上全部都是做陌生市场，或者我的同学都比较排斥那时候我只要跟我朋友一说到那家公司，他们都非常排斥 那个时候我是做一个瓷床的所以那个瓷床我也记得那时候最便宜的那个新歌是1590就跟我们太子水差不多一样，我们是1600新币哦，那时候我卖1590，那么1590我们卖一个，那时候我们直推奖是比这边高一点点好像赚一个60块新币但是60块新币其实也不多那时候我们没有双轨制，也没有什么乘碰对碰，什么都没有啦。所以那时候赚这个钱，我第一个月可能都赚不到100块，因为只卖一个床。后来做了1年，银行户口也真的是有到那种几块钱的所以那时候几块钱是很惨的，因为就没有钱吃饭，就只能喝水，所以那时候也没有太喝汁水就喝普通的水，就每天拿普通的水喝到饱，不然就买 Maggi 面，因为我那时候跟朋友住，所以就有 Maggi 面吃。所以就基本上我可以1个礼拜都可能都吃 Maggi 面吧。后来我就跑去做麦当劳，那时候麦当劳就比较好，就1个礼拜都吃麦当劳，所以基本上天天吃麦当劳。后来就做了1、2个月麦当劳，因为那时候我没有赚到钱嘛，所以就只好做麦当劳。麦当劳1个月是3块半，也不是1个月半，1个小时3块半。后来3块半，后来我觉得太少钱了，就换去 7-Eleven 就4块半。那时候就一直做到 midnight， 因为 7-Eleven 我们是做夜班的，就做到凌晨3点，有时做到凌晨5点，连7点还是8点去学校。所以我朋友就问我，哇，怎么你每天在学校睡觉？我说，哎呀，老师不用听课的啦，因为很简单。但是我poly的 result 是不错的，都是 top 5% 的就是那种 top 5% 的学生所以我没有听课也可以拿 top 5%，所以大家应该都知道啦，我不用听课的。但是老师是很厉害，只是说因为那时候我已经会了啦，因为我读中我是很多基础嘛，所以我去学校就不用读听咯，然后我就做工，所以那时候就是这样子半工半读起来的但是那时候也没有说很辛苦，因为我觉得这个只是一个过程。也不会怎么样，就麦当劳也很好吃，所以每天都吃麦当劳，吃到很开心所以就这样子吧。那么如果要translate的话我也可以帮忙一点点，如果需要啦，不需要的话就请 Jackie 帮忙啦。因为我也觉得讲的比较多一点点。
Okay, please do your own translation.
My own translation. Long story cut short. So that time when I started my MLM that time it was like in 2001. That was like 18 years old. And then that time I still studying and I don't have much money. I pay for my own rental and then all the expenses. And not because I don't want to collect from my parents, because I feel that I want to be independent. So I feel that I can earn money while studying. So of course, the first few months, my parents still support me. After a while, I find that I have to be independent. So I start to find a job. But finding a job is not simple. That time I only can work for some fast food like McDonald's. I even interview for KFC. But the pay about the same 320 or 350 per hours. But I like to eat McDonald's, so I choose to work at McDonald's instead of KFC. Then after that, I find that it's still not much, so I have to work midnight. So midnight, I try to work at 7-Eleven. So I work until maybe sometime 3 a.m. or 5 a.m. And even I work before, like the most is about 10 or 12 hours. Normally about like that, unless I got OT. If not, I work normally like 10 hours. 8 or 10 hours, 10 to 12 hours. But because I need to study, so every time I work, then I go to school, I will sleep. So my lecturer or my friend always ask me, how come you always sleep? But I say I don't need to study one. I need to work because I didn't sleep at midnight. But it's okay because I feel that it's common. But because I still studying quite well, so it's not affected my study. I still get the top scholarship in poly, so my result is still pretty good. Not the top 1%. I want to be the top 1%, but there are people who is better than me. So only top 5%. But I feel that it's good enough. So those people who know me, my study is still okay. Then after that, further my uni. So my uni, I get to earn more money already that time. because I started another MLM, but that one I make more money. I make about 30,000. And that time, like back then, 15 years ago, can earn about 10,000 or 30,000 every month is considered very good, especially at my age. That time I'm about 20 plus. So that was my very good time. But I also, of course, there is a bad time, like when I do this F&B, my business is not doing so well. So that one I lose quite a sum money. But other than that, so far so good.
Andrew, you know why you cannot get into the top 1%? Because the top 1% is here. You understand?
1%, no wonder I can't.
Yeah.
1%.
Yeah, the top 1% in Singapore. 新加坡
Yeah, no.
前面18%的，你去 check 我的 MOE records.
Better than.
Yeah. So you see, you cannot get what top 1% because it's here, right? Yes.
Yeah.
Alright. 其实真的 ，right, Andrew 是蛮聪明的一个人，哎，他读书不用上课都可以考到好成绩的。我们这种是可以读书不要读啊。当你可以有选择，我觉得这是人生的最高境界。Right, when you are rich, when you are at a point where you have the choice to do or not to do, I think that's what I call success. Right, successful is not about having more money; it's having the ability to have more choices in life. Right, and that's something I learned from my mentor Angie Robbins. So that's something you all may want to think about. Right, how can you have the ability to have more choices? You see, a lot of people say no choice, 没有办法，or 没有的选择，因为他还没有到成功的境界。但是成功人就是有很多的选择，就像两种。今天他要选择做这个做那个 ，Andrew 要选择做这个做那个都可以，因为他已经成功了，成功带给他更多的选择 ，right? And that's something that I think we want to share, right? It's not about making a lot more money, but having the ability to choose, right? And is there any one of you having questions? Alright, you can type in the chat. Alright, we are going to start the Q&A session for the next 1 hour. Right, 下一个小时你有什么要问的，你可以放在留言，我们可以问2位啊，这百万富翁。这样今天你们赚的钱有想过要做什么事情吗？赚这么多钱了，是不是要给我来花一点呢？还是要给女儿花多一点呢？还是要怎么样？来，这些钱打算来做什么？梁董来听一听。
那赚的钱肯定是让家里人的话呢，对不对？活得更好，这是我相信大家都应该都是这样子做嘛，对不对？但是呢，我还是有一个愿望的。我的愿望的话呢，就是想要成立一个慈善基金会这个是我几年前的时候呢，就想做的事情我也希望说呢，如果是有心人来讲的话呢，可以跟我们一起。但是呢，我相信在马来西亚也好，在新加坡也好，要成立这个慈善基金会来讲的话呢，是有一点难度的因为真的政府真的是有点难度。但是呢，没有关系可能我们不会有成立，但是呢，我们的心来讲的话呢，我们是尽量去帮助这些人就像那个苏卡丽塔，我相信大家应该有看到我们有一个 Facebook 是一个苏卡丽塔，我经常有 post。包括我们的 PowerPoint 里面我都有放，就是这个苏卡丽达这个慈善团体他们是一个民间自己筹款，然后呢捐赠物资的。OK， 那我本身的话呢也是有捐了一台水仪给这个机构那么呢经常也是有捐款给他们，然后他们就会买一些物资去捐给这些穷人家我们也希望说呢，通过我们的这一个善心来讲的话呢。也是通过我们这一个方式能够传授给大家，也让大家能够如果在泰禾兹平台真的能够赚到你想要的收入的时候呢，我们也希望说你能够伸出双手能够帮助更多有需要帮助的人。那么呢我们这里还是 MCO 啦，那刚刚好是因为昨天的话呢，其实呢昨天我的伙伴的话呢叫我过去送一台仪器是我本身送了一台仪器4500 OK， 那这个仪器呢本来是要前2-3个星期送的，因为刚刚有事情，所以的话呢是昨天才安排的时间我就送了，但是因为我们还没有发到群里面，是因为我们还没有做出来因为王超老师要把它修一下比较漂亮的所以的话呢我本人的话呢已经送了台湾送了槟城蛮多台了 那包括吉隆坡，所以我们希望说呢，能够不单单是水布施这一个方式而已，我们也希望说呢，在座的如果真的你的仪器水仪很多啊，或者是你有这一个所谓的能力来讲的话呢，我也希望说，如果你身边有一些机构啦、老人院啊、残障啊这些机构他们有很多的这些所谓的人士的话呢，他们的团体，所以希望说呢，你们能够伸出双手，也去帮助他们啊，不单单是靠我一个人呐、我相信我们新加坡的团队啊，他们也是经常有做这些慈善啊，所以的话呢，我们希望说我们赚到的钱，我们能够贡献给社会啊，这个呢是我一直以来都很想做的事情啊，包括的话呢，最近 COVID 有一家就是大爱的一个慈善团体也是民间的哈他们经常有一些就是中了 COVID， 然后呢没有钱去所谓的叫买那个棺材就是葬礼这一块的费用哈，那他们经常都有send给我，我也是经常有捐所以的话呢，我们就出一点点的小的一个小意思啦所以我们希望说呢，大家出一点点能够帮助一点点，那我相信的话呢，这个社会这个世界的话呢是完全不一样所以的话呢，也是配合到我们的公司的这个理念这个文化就是水布施，但是我们不单单是要水布施啦如果我们能够财布施啦、法布施啦，还有包括这个水仪的布施的话呢，也是一个很好这个是我一直以来很想做的所以我们希望说通过我们的努力通过我们的磁场我们的想法的话呢以后未来真的能够办下来这一个慈善基金会的这个执照的话呢，是一个很好包括我们马来西亚的公司全哥他们也很想做这个事情，包括我们的中国我们的严董整个高层的话呢，他们都很想做这个事情所以我们希望说未来了，在未来了未来我们能够做这一个方式能够帮助更多有需要帮助的人，所以我们希望说大家一起能够去贡献一下这个是我想说的因为呢我本身的话呢，我在中国的时候呢我也是有做了这些慈善，当然在中国当时的是应该是05年，我还记得不是15年2015年6年前我在中国呢做一个慈善捐给这些残疾的一些学校来办活动，然后我们请吃饭一个 annual dinner， 你知道我请一个 annual dinner 要花多少钱吗？当时我请一个 annual dinner 租一个酒店，一桌大概要3000块人民币，我们马币呢大概要1500到2000块的马币当时呢整个费用的话呢要花了20万的人民币那总共的话呢还有我们做了衣服啦就是我们的马甲衣服啦，我们的 T 恤啦，我们的矿泉水啦我们的环保袋啦、棒棒糖啦有很多都花了，大概我看应该有100万人民币都100万人民币所以的话呢，这个是对我来讲的话呢，是我赚到钱，我是舍得花在这一方面所以我们也希望说让全球的这些伙伴们家的人的话呢我相信你们也会，对不对？好，我们交给 Jackie。
又是问一句，你讲这么多，大哥，哎呀，真的要去读多一点书了。
没有办法，因为一讲下去的话呢，就讲个不停
对，我再跟你讲报告一下啦，真的在马来西亚成立慈善基金非常幸运，我成立过一个，用了1年半的时间，而且一定要有一个马来人是你的主席，不简单。OK， 我成立过一个。
是的。
Okay. So he was saying when now that he has money, obviously the first thing he needs to do is to give the family a better life. A very family man, very responsible family man, right? So what he wants to do now is to start a foundation. And you know, in Malaysia, it's not easy to start a foundation, right? And I shared that I've started one before in 2003 for my youth. It took us 1.5 years to set up the foundation with a bank account, and you need a Malay as a patron, all right? It's not easy. You have to go through, and the name has to be in Malay. You cannot have an English one. They will not recognize. We went through a lot just to get the foundation set up, right? So even though he says if he doesn't manage to set up the foundation, but we can still help a lot of charity organizations like the Sukarita, right, which we often raise funds to help them. And he has done this in many ways by donating a device, giving them money because they will do the funds raising from the community, and with the money they will buy food and give to the poor, right? Which is something very, very noble. There's a lot of all these charity organizations around, and many of them needs help right now. And so yesterday he actually donated one device to a friend, and he has actually donated many devices in Taiwan, Penang, KL, and he urged all of us to be able to donate if we have the ability, so that your friends or the people who really need it, they can actually get a device and protect their health right now. So Singapore here, yes, we do regular charity events as well during the pandemic, and we are looking at many more ways to give back to the community. In fact, together with my partner Andrew and Lydia, we have decided to give all the Grab and PMV drivers free water, free spray water, and maybe some food during the National Day, which is Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. All right, so we're gonna come up with a poster, and tomorrow we're gonna distribute to all these groups. And every day, 56 drivers can come out and get 2 bottles of water and a spray bottle. All right, that's just a donation, all right, from the leaders. I think they have been very tough. Grab and all these PMV drivers are having very tough business with many people in Singapore not going anywhere. Right, so there's another group in Malaysia, all right, called the Thai group, where they actually help people who contracted COVID-19, died, and their family members have no money to buy even the coffin. So he has also donated a lot of money. And his belief is that everyone can give a little bit and the world can be a better place. So we can all do a lot more when we have more money, right? So that's the whole idea of being rich. And everyone who wants to do a charity foundation in the business, actually in this terahertz, there's a lot of people who wants to set up the foundation. But as he mentioned, it could be quite tough, and they will probably have ways around it. So he also mentioned in 2005 when he did a major charity event in China, where they donated to disabled people. Just the annual dinner, one table cost them about 3,000 renminbi. And the whole dinner he spent about 200K, and with all the water, t-shirts, goodie bags, everything else thrown in, he probably spent about close to 1 million renminbi, and that's a huge cost. But it's okay because he made a lot of money at that time. So when you have money, you can give, you can donate, you're really able to give your family a better life. I think that's the real essence of being rich. And rich doesn't make you stuck up. I think rich makes you more humble. And I think George is really a very, very humble man. I think all of you agree, right? If you agree, give me an 8 on the chat, please. All right. 如果你认为真的 George 是真的是很有爱心，也很谦虚的领导，请在留言上打一个8。也打一个8吧。All right。好，这样。OK Andrew 来自讲自编自导自演。我不要帮你翻译，很辛苦，我帮 Josh 翻译，改次要让 Josh 来上英文班了。这样 Andrew 怎么样？赚了钱有什么感想？现在有钱？
现在玩什么东西呀？
对，
没有啦，就是我们每次讲的嘛，做慈善嘛，因为我们做这个事业本来就是在做慈善，在做帮人的事业，所以行善不为人后，所以我们要做第一第一就是要帮助更多的人嘛。所以在做事业的时候呢，我们也是像我们的梁总所说的，就是要做一点捐献，我们送水、送爱心、送健康、送财富。所以我们在送水当中，我们也送给老人院、清安村，我们一些慈善机构，包括一些老人家。那么最近更需要，因为什么？因为很多人的疫情包括我们公司也很大爱嘛，他也送很多东西最近就有促销，都有买有送送盖子，又送那个什么杀毒液。所以我觉得这个慈善的事业是非常大的，很多有钱人，我们讲比尔盖茨等等的，他们都是赚到了钱，都会把一部分的钱取之社会，用之社会，他就把这笔钱捐出去。当你做更多的慈善的时候，其实反而你得到的会更多那么我也有去过中国我跟梁总一样，但是我没有住在那边这么久。我之前是在上海，你也知道上海其实是一线城市就是第一省 那么它的消费也比较高。那时候也是去了差不多有1年多吧。那时候在上海住，也住在比较偏远的地区。那时候住在松江，可能大家知道上海的话，就知道松江靠近那个机场，松江比较偏远嘛，它不属于在那个市中心。所以那时候每次住在那边的时候，都感觉哇，上海的消费非常高。那么也去了好多的乡村地区啊，包括我们那时候捐献有去到大凉山那个在四川可能四川的朋友就知道，还有那时候四川曾经有大地震汶川大地震，那时候也做了很多的捐献。所以那时候呢，其实我已经有在建学校。当然我不是在新加坡建学校，我没有像 Jacky 教练哇，在学校要建 homeschool， 或者在马来西亚建学校那时候我是在中国，那时候我的名字也有刻在那边当然那个只是一个小小的奖励啦，包括曾经也是在柬埔寨，也是一样的，就跟我们的新加坡不是同学吧，就是朋友或者一些生意人，就去到柬埔寨建学校。那最近我也有一个朋友，他也是说要去柬埔寨去做贡献我觉得有时我们去到这些地方，尤其是去到贫困地区或者贫穷的一些rural country 你会发现到我们真的很幸福当然我们有很多人身在福中不知福嘛，所以我觉得我们现在虽然疫情还是这么严重，虽然马来西亚的疫情今天好像也是2万这1、2天好像都是破2万，哇，对我来说是非常的高。那么新加坡也一样，新加坡现在可能100多，那也是很多啦，因为我们新加坡非常小人口也非常少，才500万、600万人口，但是有这样的一个人数，其实都很严重。但是我们通过我们的水布施通天下，这个水可以去到全世界，可以帮助全世界的人贫穷痛苦等等的都可以帮忙所以我觉得在做慈善的当中赚到的钱，就把一部分捐出去这个是我的在做的啦。之前也是一直有在做啦，只是说现在可以做更多，因为我们的水真的是可以帮到人，不是用金钱可以形容啦，不是只是捐钱，因为很多时候像梁总找我的时候，我就以为只是要捐钱我以为是要捐多少，因为通常人家讲捐钱，我就 OK 来直接捐多少。那现在不是了，现在是可以送水了，不是只是给钱而已因为钱不是万能嘛，对吧？所以我们讲我们可以付出可以去到一些贫穷地区、贫困地区去帮助这些人你就会感受到我们其实虽然疫情这么严重，但是还是非常幸福的，因为我们还是有的吃有的喝，只是可能不能出门这样子。那这个要translate嘛？
自己 translate 啦，你会英文的啦。
哇，这个也是很高水准的，每次要翻译我刚才讲的每次很快。
你们问你
真的好辛苦嘞，这个还真的很翻译很难嘞。OK 啦，that time I stay in Shanghai. Those people who can understand Chinese actually is okay, but I just quick one, I stay in Shanghai and then I stay there for about 1 year plus, but I stay not near to the town area. So every time I can see some people they are not so rich. I went to some rural country like I don't know where is Daliangshan. Daliangshan is some mountain in the Sichuan. Sichuan there. So don't know you don't know Sichuan or not. So Sichuan is a very quite a big city also, it's a province, but Sichuan there is a very small more 一个叫做市吧，它叫大凉山。So those people they are very poor, and at that time we actually built school, and then after that we also do some donation to them. At the same time, we also go Cambodia and build the school also. So we know the importance of education. So I believe in it. So we will do all this to help people. But currently we are in terahertz water sharing business. So we know this water can actually not just donate money, but actually can help them in terms of the health and then in terms of their wealth also. So basically it's like this.
Okay. Yeah, so I think one of the common things you'll find that when you become successful, I think in the heart of most people, even if you're not successful, you're not rich, I think a lot of people like to do charity. And that's the reason why I started a charity foundation with the youth that was coaching way back in 2013. We started a foundation in Malaysia because I think youth should start with the essence of being able to give back, all right, not just taking from the parents. So I think the founders of that charity foundation back then was I think they are very different youths where by giving back to society, they learn how to treasure what their parents give it to them. Right， 就是在2013、2014，我在吉隆坡做培训的时候，那些青少年培训，我就成立了一个基金会给他们，所以也通过这样的一种活动，让他们知道，其实施比得更有福啊，所以让他们去感恩他们的父母，也不用所以就不会说把他们的父母给他们的钱让他当作是理所当然的。他们很多这些在创办这个基金会的时候或者过后，他们都非常的感恩我有给他们这样的机会，而且辅助他们去做这么多的慈善。所以真的是我觉得每个人都是想做慈善，但是你必须要有钱。If you want to do charity, I really always say you should have the ability to give, right? And the more you are able to give means the better you are, right? So we want to be able to give back to the society more, right? 好，这样下一个问题呢，我觉得我们可以来谈一谈，你们认为现在做的事情是未来的一个趋势吗 ？OK， 这个是比较深比较轻的一个问题Right? Do you see what you're doing has a future trend? All right, because one of the things that we talk about in business is to be able to start the trend or capture the trend when it's going up, and that's how many businesses made it. 所以在生意上，你要能够抓住那个先机、那个商机，才是真正赚大钱的一种机会。所以你们认为我们做的这个太赫兹或喝这个水有这个技术，太赫兹是未来的趋势吗？你怎么看这件事情？老大，
好，那我们首先来讲这个趋势啊，什么叫趋势因为呢，你会发现到我们不管是每5年还是10年的话呢，或者是20年的话呢，都有一个趋势，都有一个产品都会很火的。OK， 像20-30年前嘛，应该如果没有意外来讲的话呢，20-30年前的话呢，大家还记得这一个叫nano 嘛 ，nano technology 纳米技术。当纳米技术来临的时候呢，就会轰动整个市场，所有的产品啊，吃的、用的、穿的，基本上都加上这个纳米科技的技术。OK， 不管是它是真的有加还是假的加，我们也不知道。但是呢，都炒这个话题。那我们首先来讲的话呢，就是这个疫情啊。那大家知道这个疫情的话呢，就是让我们全球的人类都知道什么？健康很重要，然后呢，免疫力很重要，抵抗力很重要。所以的话呢，很多人都讲说大健康，大健康。所以的话呢，健康的行业的话呢，它是不会过时的。但是呢，要有看你是做什么样的产品，这个是很重要。我相信大家都知道，这几十年来讲的话呢，从 A 公司A 公司做到现在已经做到，我不是做 A 公司因为我不是很懂我相信应该都有3到40年左右吧，在马来西亚，对不对？所以的话呢，维他命啦，什么 mineral 啦，什么东西都基本上这些保健品的话呢，都已经人家吃了，都感觉到都习惯了。加上的话呢，这些保健品的话呢，因为我也是从18岁就开始吃保健品，也是吃到现在那你会发现到有时候我们吃保健品有时候呢我们会忙起来的时候呢，我们就会忘记吃。当我们一忘记吃1天、2天、3天、5天、1个礼拜的时候呢，甚至1个月、2个月，可能甚至1年，我们都忘记吃了。为什么？因为我们有时候人很善忘所以这些保健品我们每一次都买了很多可能几千块，可能10几20千的保健品放在家里，因为买越多越便宜嘛朋友都是这样子跟我们讲，对不对？所以买的话呢，基本上忘记吃了过后呢，那个保健品就 expired 了，过期了就不能吃了，所以感觉到很浪费对不对？ 但加上的话呢，保健品你一个人吃的话呢，那还好哦。但是你现在疫情来讲的话呢，你最好就是让你的父母亲，你的孩子啊，你老婆老公都来吃啊，不管是5个人还是10个人，所以这种费用的话呢就很高了。所以我们谈一下这个太赫兹水这个水仪哈，基本上你看一下，我们只是投资一次啊，4500也好，1600新币也好，那我们可以让我们的全家人喝水，不管你的全家人是5个人也好，10个人也好，甚至大家庭50个人都没问题啊。你都可以让这些人都用，为什么？因为我们这一个水仪的话呢，它很方便携带，所以它很小个，很小型哦。就像刚才有很多人讲啊，经常都讲说，这个是像炕斗啊，像熨斗这样子，所以很方便我们携带。所以我们可以去对方的家，包括我们家里人、亲戚啊、朋友啊，做水给他们。OK， 所以呢，你会发现到现在的人呢都是考虑什么呢？考虑能够越省则好，为什么呢？因为现在的经济不好很多人赚钱都比较辛苦啊。那加上的话呢，我们是利用太赫兹的技术所以我刚刚开始带这个产品进来马来西亚的时候呢，很多人听不懂什么叫 Tera 和太赫兹很多人笑我们，真的吗？可以吗？甚至有一些人讽刺，甚至有很多人就讲到不好听的话啦。坦白讲所以我们当时开始做的时候，19年的10月我们开始做的时候呢，也比较辛苦所以我们也是慢慢累积经验收集这些见证，然后呢看到有很多见证，那我也是感谢我们的团队我们前期的这些领袖的话呢都是相信我们，也是信任我们，所以的话呢就把整个市场的话呢也是做得蛮不错一下。我相信现在在整个市场，不管是马来西亚也好，新加坡也好，很多人都知道什么叫太赫兹，知道这3个字啦，太赫兹。然后你会发现到在市场上的话呢，有很多家做水的，水机也好啦，水仪也好啦，其他的一些公司，其他的一些产品，现在呢都用这个3个字叫太赫兹。所以这一个证明什么？这一个证明就是这一个3个字叫太赫兹的话呢，已经是很红了。所以的话呢，用了这3个字的话呢，可能它的产品的话呢会比较好卖，我不知道大家相不相信。所以你会发现到这段时间来讲的话呢，有很多的产品包括那个吹风筒因为我们最近公司才有这个吹风筒但是我们没有卖的我们只是一个就是多你给一个费用一点点的费用而已 ，OK 优惠而已我们不是真正的在配套上不是卖几千块的。你会发现到很多公司都在做这所谓的像类似像吹风筒像小神吹这样的一个方式，还有包括鞋子啦，太赫兹鞋子啦包括其他的产品现在都是用太赫兹的。所以你会发现到太赫兹它是一个趋势来的，所以我敢跟你讲，以后你会看到很多很多吃的、用的、穿的都是以太赫兹技术来做标题，所以这个叫趋势。所以当我们掌握了这个趋势的时候呢，你会发现到只要你掌握趋势，轻轻松松你就会在这个领域这个大健康里面你就会赚了很多很多。所以当时我们做的时候很辛苦，但是现在你会发现到我们在疫情期间的话呢，也是真的要感谢，不是感谢疫情是要感谢我们公司创造了这么一个好的一个平台，有这么棒的一个产品，也有这么棒的一个制度让我们所有人都能够相信我们的人话呢，都能够得到健康，也能够得到财富所以在这样子疫情的期间呢，已经在马来西亚已经1年多了如果大家想想一下，如果疫情呢真的是走了离开了过后，请问一下我们的太赫兹水仪这一个事业这一个业绩，你们觉得会不会很疯狂呢？我敢跟你讲，一定会很疯狂。所以我们会创造前一批的人都是赚1000万的人，我敢跟你讲。好，谢谢，我们交回给我们的 Jackie 教练。
哎呀，又是讲了一大堆。OK， 来认为这个是未来的趋势，你在线上打一个9。If you think that this is going to be a future trend, give us a 9 in the chat. All right, let's see how many of you think that and agree that this is going to be a trend. 有多少人认为这是未来的趋势 ？All right， 我就做翻译。Okay, so what is a trend? Every 10 to 20 years, there will be a major trend. Like almost 20 years ago, you can see in the market this term called nanotechnology. Whether true or not, everybody has this on their product. All right, a lot of products, eat, usage, whatever they say, they have nanotechnology, and people just go crazy, paying a lot more to have this nanotechnology products, owning it. And in this pandemic right now, I think you'll be able to see, all right, so something that is very unique. Everybody now understand health, immune system, greater health. Even this term called RNA, all right, is different from DNA. People understand this term called RNA. When before that, 3 to 4 years ago, when I talk to people, RNA, can eat or not, you know? So, but now everybody, most people understands this term called RNA, all right, because of this pandemic. So health is something that will never get out of the trend, or rather be a place where the trend does not exist. So as we go further, right, into the years beyond, you will see that many people will be more health conscious. From the big A company, all right, that has been in Malaysia for 30 to 40 years selling a lot of health products. Now, nothing wrong with consuming health products. A lot of us consume health products, I believe, and I consume a lot too. But the problem is sometimes when we are busy, we forget to eat, and sometimes go for 2 to 3 days, we forget to eat, and we start to forget for 1 year. And then by the time we remember, all these products are already expired. And sometimes upon the recommendation of our good friends who says, you buy more lah, it's cheaper. So we buy a lot, and then eventually found out that this a lot are expired. All right, so this is very wasteful. I personally have the experience, and I buy a lot for my dad, all right, because his health is not so good. He consumes a lot of medical, and I tell you, a lot are expired. All right, I don't know how many 100,000s I've spent on my dad buying expired food for him. All right, I don't know. Buy food, health food that eventually went expired. Right? So you know that in a family, if you consume health food, one person is okay. All right, but now in this pandemic, everyone wants to protect the family. You have your whole family consuming health food, friend, it's going to cost you a bomb. All right, and in this pandemic, making money is not as easy as in this TSX. All right, so a lot of people, in fact, a lot of my friends are in direct selling companies, right? In the past, they were making very good money. For the last 1 year, many of them have seen their business gone down by 30, 50, some even by 80%, right? This is the truth, all right? Again, like it or not. But for this terahertz, because it's a device, you can resonate the water, you can resonate for 5 to 50 or even 100 people in your family, all right? So it becomes a very low cost, a very low and economic way of helping more family members to get better health. So Josh was saying that in the beginning, when he brought in this device 21 months ago, a lot of people asking what is that? They are skeptical, they have a lot of negative vibes, but slowly and steadily with the help of his team members and the pioneers who believe in the products, they started to collect more and more testimonials. And you see right now, especially the last 3 months, in the whole market, there's a lot of companies that are dealing with water machines, filter machines, and you start to see this term called terahertz being slapped onto their labels, stamped onto their products. Whether they have terahertz, no terahertz, they also will be using words like this, terahertz technology or terahertz resonated waters or things like that. And there are other products like the blower, shoes, or whatever, all right, all are coming up with this term and this coin called terahertz. So you will know that this is going to be an up and coming trend. So which means right now, whatever we're doing, we are actually not riding the trend, but starting the trend, which is the best part of any money-making process. So in the future, in the next 3 years beyond, you will see a lot of terahertz products in the market. And Josh has given thanks to the company for a good product and a good marketing plan. And he believes that everybody will go crazy with this trend called the terahertz trend. And I'd like to share a little bit more on this identifying a trend. Now, what is the trend? When you talk about it, people are skeptical. Some people are wow, and some people say, who cares? Now, be very mindful. That may be the start of a very, very big trend. All right. So that's in essence what George has shared. So right now, we'd like to invite Andrew to give his sharing and his point on this terahertz. what he sees. Is this a trend or is this something that is just like a fireworks explode? That's it. All right, like National Day, we see all the fireworks explode for 10, 20 months and then that's it. It will fizzle out. Right. So Andrew, what's your point on this? Right? Is this going to be a major trend? Andrew 开麦。Right， 你认为这是未来的一个趋势吗？
啊，是啊，是啊。今天很多话题，因为今天很多促销，所以
今天你被很多女人围
对，一人讲一句话，我都听到。我现在大概电话里面有5、6个人在讲话，不是，现在有5、6个人在讲话，所以我要 handle 5、6个的话就
哇，你一个都 handle 不来，你要 handle 5、6个，哎呦。
所以很难的，刚才更多，现在好一点点啊。所以刚刚讲到趋势哦，我们都知道现在我们的这一个泰赫兹是肯定是最高科技的一个产品嘛，那么也是很 hot 哦。我们的生意就是给我们做起来哦，现在每个人都听过泰赫兹水，那么我们的泰赫兹这个技术呢，也是被定为就是美国或者在中国也好，都是改变未来10大科技之一。所以你问我现在这个趋势，是我们 right on the wave 啦哦，所以我讲这个是站在什么风口上哦，连猪都会飞，对吧？所以我们讲我们都不是猪，但是我们在这个时代哦，真的是你可能都轻轻松松可能就做起来了。就好像我们讲保健品，曾经以前保健品也很火可能很多人都会吃保健品，都会买很多保健品，但是可能以前可能只有那1家2家，可能 A 公司或者B 公司等等的。那么现在呢，可能满街你去问很多家 A 到 Z 可能都有但是泰赫兹水呢，就是唯独一家所以我们做唯独一家的，这个肯定是一个独特。非常一个独特的一个趋势所以我们讲 USP 嘛 ，Unique Selling Proposition 嘛，所以我们是有一个独特的一个卖点，独特的一个科技。那么这个科技呢，不容易被复制，而且有 pattern pattern right， 所以它是很难被仿造的。因为我们做一个东西，我们不要只是做一下子，我们要做长久性的。我们讲做 sustainable business，sustainable 就是说一直要持续。然后我们讲做水呢是细水长流的这个生意呢不是做一次赚1次的钱，而是你做1次，你一直在享有可以世袭的叫做细水长流，可以一直拥有拿钱的。所以这个才是我们要的，我们要的这个 passive income 就是我们的被动收入是持续性的。那么我讲了英文I think this is the very right trend, and then this terahertz technology is one of the highest or the best technology that can change the world. So basically, we know that this technology is so good, and at the same time, we can see the potential is growing very fast. As our product, we got a lot of testimonial. And last time, maybe they only have 1 supplement or 2 supplements company. But nowadays, we can see there are many different kind of products. There are different kind of supplements. But if you want to compete with them, it's very difficult. But our terahertz, there is no competition. In the market, maybe there are some K company, there are some C company, or there are some hertz company. But it's all different from ours. And they actually can complement well with our product because our terahertz is a device, so it's not a filtered machine. So no, it's a water filter. So we can see the potential in it. That's why we want to do it. And then this one is a sustainability. There's a long-term sustainability business. Sustainable. So what we want to do is a passive income. It's not that those like only active income, which means that when you work, then you got the money. But this is a passive income that can be long-term, and every time you still got the money. So in Chinese, we always say 细水长流, mean that this thing is going to be a very long term. This is what I'm looking for. So it's not just a fast money. It's a long-term passive income. Thank you.
Okay, so here I want to share, right? Even though I know Andrew, or rather actively participate with Terahertz for the last only few months since March. I want to share with you one thing that I discovered for Terahertz. You may want to write this down because it's very, very important. In the past, any technology is always first used for Ministry of Defense, then by the health sciences. All these top-notch technologies are always for these two. And when it start to go into the public, which is for us normal people to use, and eventually you go down to the layman where everyone is talking about it, this will be the start of a new trend, right? 我讲华语，任何的科技技术，因为我曾经在海军，我们都是以最高科技的，所有最高科技的一定是给国防部先用。任何的科技一发明出来，民间不会可能知道的，因为一定是国防部用的。接下来就是医疗在用，医疗用了，有了证实之后，就会到所谓的商家产品，然后到民间所用。所以当你看到一个技术开始在商家红起来，然后在民间红起来，你就知道这个是一个大趋势来了。OK， 因为我本身有两个老师读趋势学的，所以我们从那边有去看到，而且去印证这些，所以你们可以知道太赫兹不是未来，而是从现在到未来的3年，这个主要的就是太赫兹的爆炸期。哎，你可以把今天这句话写下来，爆炸期，未来的36个月，我告诉你，你会看到很多的科学家开始站出来讲太赫兹技术。Right, in the next 3 years, you start to see more professors, scientists, and even universities talking about the terahertz technology and how that in the engineering world is going to change the world. Right, so that's something that because of the last 3 months I've been studying this and watching a lot of YouTubes and talking to a lot of friends and professors in the universities, I can tell you this is going to be one of the biggest trends in the world, right, in the next 36 months. Okay, 好，来线上有没有人要问两位001两位百万富翁一些问题？好像大家都没有想了解他们的，没有的话我们就聊到此为止哦。有没有人要问的 ？OK， 要问 Josh 还是要问 Andrew？OK， 不要问我啦，我常常在讲课，可能你们也听到多了。要问我的话，你可以来我们的这个成功俱乐部。有人要问 S86， 你可以打在你的那个留言区吗 ？Right? Can you just type it in the chat? Right? Then I can answer. Right? At the moment, we are not allowing anyone to turn on their mics. Right? 有人要问吗 ？Alright， 我们可以回答3个问题啦。OK， 三个简单的问题，但是对 Josh 来讲不是你的一个问题哦，他讲15分钟，然后要我翻译，你知道吗？所以Josh 不要讲。很痛苦啊，跟这些大咖讲话聊天叫他们问问题，我天哪，讲了一大堆，然后要我翻译。有人吗？有问题吗？你们是有在吗 ？Hello, yes, Mr. Josh. We have many non-Chinese speaking members in our group. Yeah, that's why I'm translating. Yeah, we understand that. That's why I'm doing the translation. Right? Anyone else has any question? 有什么问题吗？你们都知道 Josh 本身他英文过得去啦，不是说不好啦，只是他不敢讲而已啦。但你听他唱歌，明天you see all the English words all come out. Alright, tomorrow. Yeah, 他会唱女娃娃。OK， 不能他唱什么歌？明天好，来有什么问题吗？没有的话，我就会发问最后一个问题，我们聊一下，我们就结束今晚。因为如果要泡脚，可以放一部分。这个不要问问题，不要问这种产品的问题嘛，问他们一些私人的问题。泡脚这个你可以问你的上线，泡脚。Yeah, translation is definitely much lesser, right? We are giving you the gist of it. I cannot be translating sentence for sentence, my friend, all right? It's almost impossible, right? Unless we are professional translator that can, and then you have a team, all right? To do sentence by sentence translation, you need a team of people. You can't do it alone, all right? So please bear with me, all right? 公司往后有准备出产什么样的产品啊？就是公司那个你们问别人吧 ，Alright, yeah, so 还有什么问题吗？没有的话，好，来，如果想了解梁总接下来的目标，未来的12个月的目标，还有 Andrew 12个月的目标，想赚多少钱的，请打3个1给我看一下。Right? Yes, the company will be doing a lot of translation to give all the non-Chinese speakings. Alright, just bear with us. Alright, we're targeting 1st of September to a full set of English translated materials for you. 好，我们来很快很简单的，未来12个月要赚多少钱 ？OK， 我知道我从我的传统企业，我的目标是150万美金。OK， 我现在 for next 12 months in my own business is 1.5 million US dollars. Alright, so 来我们来听一听两位大哥001，未来1年要赚多少钱？
未来的这一年呢、这一年来讲的话呢，我个人的目标的话呢是200万美金。
200万美金，很好。诶，多我一点点哦。
啊，多你一点点罢了，不敢多太多。
OK， 好。Andrew 呢 ？Andrew 多少 ？All right, Josh is looking at 2 million, no, 2 million US dollars. All right, mine is 1.5 million. All right, Andrew.
哇，我们的梁董赚200万，这边回音很大哦。那么我就少他一半啦，我也不用太多啦，100万美金也差不多了。就他一半的业绩就我来这边，从我这边来。就100万美金，比教练 Jackie 教练少一点点哦，我就在差不多100万美金，应该可以的。我是很知足的啦，我那时候也是跟他们说，我1个月赚大概100-200千就蛮满意了啦，所以我都不要求太高。那天听到我们的梁总赚这么多，我都哇，眼睛真的是眼睛一亮哦，眼前一亮他刚刚没有说他奖金多少，我也不多说，但是我也就100万也好，已经对我来说已经是非常非常好的，一年赚100万哦，真的是已经如果真的做到啦，还没做到，但是如果真的做到100万美金，我觉得很知足了啦。
Okay, so Andrew is saying his target is 1 million US dollars. Mine is 1.5 million. Josh is 2 million. So next year we can look at what 4.5 million US dollars. Yeah, and we donate 10%. That's about 450,000 US dollars. That's about a million ringgit. Alright. 如果说能够okay, and elaborate more on the residual. 你现在是要讲制度吗？这样讲制度，可能我们谈到11点都讲不完哦。
谁要讲制度啊？谁要讲制度啊？没有吧？
他讲 elaborate more on the residual， 就是业余收入。OK， 他要想听多一点。来 OBB 吧。
不要。
OBB。
OK， 有人问啊，那个慈善的捐款啊，这个问题的话呢，我给你解答一下因为我们是做慈善，是捐的没有收钱的，1分都没有收的。这个才叫做慈善不是扣钱千万别误会OK 我们是完完全全把我们的自己的仪器送给这个机构，就像我昨天送给伊顿残疾中心 OK 好，那第二个问题的话呢，就是卡拉 OK 卡拉 OK 的话呢，明天我们大概会有20-30位的我们的会员我们的领袖会来唱歌给大家听明天的活动不需要报名，你们只要登录同样今天晚上的这一个 ID Zoom ID 跟密码，但是我也要交代一下，大家一定要提早登录因为呢我们全球目前有2万多个会员 Zoom 只有限1000个人而已所以如果你不早进场的话呢，我怕你看不到那你只有在 Facebook 看就像我们上个月办了一场的这个大会，我们的表扬大会的话呢，很多人5点就进场，进不了 OK 满5点半就满1000人了，所以很多人都进不了，看不到我们的这一个 Zoom 的直播所以我们希望说大家一定要通知你的朋友早一点进场这个是很重要。好，来接下来我们交给 Jackie 教练。
Okay, first question from one of our guests, right? Asking when we donate, right? How much price do they pay, right? No, it's 100% donated by George, by the people who do the charity. All right, we don't discount, we give 100%. Right, so for the next one is tomorrow karaoke. We have 20 to 30 singers already lined up for you. You don't have to register, just come in, but please come in early because tomorrow we are anticipating a lot of people from all other countries to join in because we only have 1,000 vacancies in the Zoom. All right, so you can please come in early. All right, so this is something that we want to urge you. Right, now we have one question here, but I think this out of topic today. Andrew 还是梁总，你看要不要回答那个关于太赫兹技术的？
这个也要回答一下，因为让所有人都知道一下对，它是蛮有出名的一家公司因为他们做的比较久，但是呢，你要知道一下，因为我都刚才说了，大家都在讲太赫兹，所以的话呢，你去看一下它的包装是写 hydrogen water 呢，还是写 terahertz water device 呢？你可以自己去找一下答案。OK， 那我就不说太多东西。OK， 所以大家如果有收到一些市场上反映给你们知道说它是太赫兹加太赫兹加复清水、太赫兹加共振水、太赫兹加什么你们去看一下它的 backing 就知道了如果 backing 有太赫兹，那我没话说如果 backing 你看一下，你自己去找一下答案就知道了。OK。好不好这位朋友叫杰森的你可以去找一下答案。OK， 那这个家公司我们也太清楚了但是呢，最近的话呢，他们有推出一个叫太赫兹护理仪跟我们是一样的但是呢，它只是复清罢了我敢讲它是没有太赫兹啦。OK。
Okay, I think the people are asking that why there are so many terahertz products out there or similar products. You gotta understand, terahertz, the technology is patented, but the frequency, the wavelength is there in the universe. We cannot patent something that is God created, my friends. All right, but the technology to capture or have something that resonates or emits this terahertz frequency is patented. So, but then you can also find other ways of creating this terahertz energy. So this is where you will have a lot. It's just like coffee is a generic term. Terahertz is a generic term. It's like infrared. You cannot patent something that is generic. All right. So you need to have this understanding. But the way that our company has the chip, the technology to emit that kind of terahertz energy, that can be patented. All right. So and then there's so many other variations in the market. So don't worry about that. Right. You got to understand, only good things people want to copy. If your thing is rubbish, who wants to copy you, right? Yeah. So have some wisdom, all right? 只有好的东西人家才要抄，才要做，你不好人家抄你干嘛？对不对？这样让梁总这么好吗？会赚钱人家才要 copy 他，要进入他吗？他穷光蛋穿着拖鞋，每天破成像乞丐，我要跟他，对不对？哎，这是一些基本的常识各位我希望说大家来这里学习是来比较学习有知识，再加上有智慧，才可以做一个比较成功的人。好，今天也聊到这里9点50分，我们聊了1个多小时，真的希望说如果你们喜欢今天的这种聊天方式，请在线上打一个8给我们看，这样我们可能可以安排以后更多的这样的聊天方式，而不是直接讲课。我觉得一个礼拜7、8场这样的课，我相信大家听到也有点腻。不过我觉得这样的聊天我应该也是蛮好的我们只是谈一些通常都不是我们不会去聊也不会谈的一些东西啦不懂梁总跟 Andrew 觉得怎么样？今天开心吗？这样的聊法
开心，因为呢讲课的话呢，坦白讲得很喘。
我翻译得很喘呢。
前
期有经过对，前期有
about the residual income 我们
对
有啦，但是因为如果要讲那个制度so they talk about asking about Anna. I think Anna is asking about the residual income. So this thing, I think we can ask your upline to share with you how to earn the residual income through our so-called marketing plan.
，OK，
对。在这
可以
里的话呢，我要给大家再讲一下哈，这个，OK，这个一定要给大家看一下先，这个一定要通知大家哈，OK，所以大家看到我的屏幕吗？
，OK，
有看明天很重要啊，明天真的是纯娱乐哈，就是我们的泰赫兹，你看我的背景图就是泰赫兹马全球歌友会明天晚上7点再跟大家讲一下OK， 明天我们有很多歌王歌后都来现场给大家听大家一定要做听众来支持我们OK， 来参加我们第1次举办的这一个歌友会那接下来我们来给大家看一下这位是谁呢？这位就是我的公主我家里的公主我家里的公主，因为呢我家里的公主她3岁就会唱歌了3岁就会唱歌了她唱闽南歌蛮好听的如果有听到她的歌就知道了，所以明天的话呢，她就会献唱最少2首歌给大家，所以你看一下，这个是我特地教她拍的一个 video 给大家看一下
大家好，欢迎来参加泰赫兹马全球歌友会。我们星期天晚上7点 Zoom 直播见哦，拜拜 ，Love you 。
可爱，好可爱，
是不是好可爱很可爱嘛对不对所以很可爱所以的话呢，明天我的女儿的话呢也会献唱，包括我本人的话呢也会唱，大概应该有1、2首歌给大家听 OK， 还有呢我的太太是很厉害唱歌，她的歌声真的是很不错所以明天也会献唱给。那明天的话呢，我们有大概应该有7个国家的会员，我们的领袖都会献唱这些歌，包括马来西亚、新加坡、台湾、印尼、柬埔寨、中国，还有新加坡包括有柬埔寨的所以的话呢，我们这几天都在排练都在试唱试音，因为呢这是跟卡拉 OK 的方式完全不同所以的话是用 Zoom 这边来唱歌的话呢，所以为什么我特地去买了一个就是那个声卡，这个声卡可能大家没有看到，特地买了一个声卡特地花钱买的就是为了这个要唱歌，但是我知道买了的话很值得，为什么？因为接下来我们会举办这样子的一个歌友会经常都会办，那以后可能我们安排一场的话呢，就是我们全球来一场比赛，歌唱比赛，所有会员都来比赛 OK， 所以的话呢得到什么奖都会有得到1、2、3支奖都有的但是这是明天的这个活动，如果有参加的朋友要记得要唱得很好如果谁唱得很好，有很多人评价说你唱歌是1、2、3，比如说 OK， 公司会挑选然后呢去参加我们公司这一个月底的8月28号的 anniversary我们的周年庆我们在马来西亚我们注册已经刚刚好1年1年而已OK， 所以的话呢，你会挑选在我们的8月28号的周年庆也来献唱的话呢，公司会奖励你公司也会奖励你，所以在这里有300多位的话呢，跟大家讲一下，有参加我们明天的这个歌唱表演的话呢，记得要默念的唱的你的歌声更好听，给我大家让全球人都知道你是蛮厉害唱歌的，好不好 ？OK， 所以期待我们明天见大家一定要邀请更多你的家人、你的亲戚、你的朋友，包括一些陌生朋友让他们来参加我们的这一次的这个歌友会让给我们的这一个歌友会都爆满1000人，好不好？明天见，交回给我们的 Jacky 家人。
明天我不唱，因为我唱的话大家没有奖品拿。我就讲我的歌声比的话好一点点而已。OK， 不过你们其他人尽情的去唱 ，Alright， 明天真的在线上7点 ，Alright， tomorrow see you 7 p.m. in the Zoom. Sing, and if you are a very good singer, you're the top 3 singers tomorrow, you will be asked to sing in the annual convention or rather the anniversary convention of our company coming on the 25th of August. Right, so we'll see you tomorrow night. Alright， 各位晚安，谢谢，非常高兴今天这样。
好的，谢谢大家，
谢谢大家，谢谢大家，明天见哦，明天见哦，明天见 ，OK。明天我们什么活动都没有了，什么活动啊？讲课都没有哦。本来我们下午都有讲课的，是变成没有讲课，取消了。OK。
新加坡要国庆了，虽然
国庆了，
我不是新加坡啦，但是还是跟新加坡说国庆节快乐。
我是
国庆日啊，国庆日快乐哦。
国庆日啊
，Long holiday， 对吗？
几号啊？几号啊
？8月9号啊，新加坡。
8月9号
8月31啊。
对啊。
新加坡8月9号 holiday。OK，
那是连续啊。
我们8.1还有做工哦，我们8.1还是照开哦，
还照开啊。
虽然是 holiday。OK，
辛苦了啊！大家加油！把我们的水布施的这么大爱的话呢，传递到全世界各地。OK 所以我们一起要加油啊！莉迪亚，你来了，莉迪亚好啊！明天我们的莉迪亚的先生也会献唱一首英文歌给大家听。哇，他的歌声也是很棒，很棒，他的歌声
很棒啊！
真的很棒。Hello。明天记得哦，邀请更多的朋友哦，在线的200多位，现在200多位，一定要邀请更多的朋友哦。OK 发去你的 Facebook， 邀请更多的朋友。你看到我的孩子啊，很好笑。昨天晚上你知道吗？跟大家讲一下啊，这个题外话昨天晚上大概11点多，我们在试唱啊。然后呢，他就用他的微信啊，他的电话的微信啊，他就发给他的朋友啊，他还有朋友啊，他的一个大他应该几岁的一个小朋友发给他，把刚才那个我播放给你们的视频啊发给他看啊，他就跟他讲，以彬姐姐，你明天要来参加我的歌唱表演哦。他来看哦，那就问他是什么 ID 什么密码，他就发给他了，这个咯 ID 咯，这个密码咯。哇，我的女儿呢就很兴奋哦，哇，这边走来走去，上来上去，走来走去，一直跟他聊哦，哇，他很开心啊，第一个粉丝他就很开心了哦。你看这么小罢了，他就会邀请他的 supporter 来 support 他了。
是，小孩子天真的思维。
对啊，所以我们希望说呢，大家明天如果是有表演的话呢，你邀请你更多的朋友来看一下，来表演一下哈，因为我们这一种方式真的是完全不同啊，因为不像卡拉 OK 啊。卡拉 OK 的话呢，只是这几个人听到而已哈。现在正是我们让全球的人都能听到你的声音所以的话呢，可以邀请你下一次记得哈你们有小孩子，下一次的话呢，如果你的小孩子很喜欢唱歌的话呢，我们也鼓励你把你的孩子也送上来，让他唱一下，对不对？练胆量一下，有可能以后的话呢。我们公司成立一个像《中国好声音》的这个节目，哇，这个真的是
我公司赞助 ，OK， 我公司做赞助商
我们可以做嘛，《中国好声音》对不对？
对
我们做我们的好声音的时候了，对不对？也可以嘛，是不是？
我做评判。
所以明天你们要来听啊！你看啊，明天呢，我们已经有很多歌曲他们已经改了。我们的太赫兹的歌词，太多人才了，明天真的是太多人才了
洗耳恭听，明天真的。
对，所以要邀请更多的朋友 ，relax 的是 relax 啊。那如果是你喜欢跳舞的，也可以来跳舞在家跳舞，一起来跳，
要穿衣哦，不要脱衣 ，OK 。
最好明天的话呢，你要开 V6的话呢，你要穿漂亮一点哦，不要没有穿衣服。对的。所以明天你们来听一下很多人都没有听过我的女儿我的小公主的声音真的是蛮不错的你一定会喜欢我的女儿唱歌还有我的太太太厉害唱歌了 ，OK，
唱歌一族全家人
是因为我也喜欢唱歌。所以才会想到这样的一个形式来去做。
我年轻的时候20多岁的时候退休之后，几乎每天都去唱 K。
对啊，唱歌也是好为什么呢？因为唱歌也是养生之一
是，
对不对？所以我们不单单要喝水我们还要经常要唱歌一下 啊，所以我们希望说喜欢唱歌的朋友，下一次一定要报名啊，一定要报名啊！哎，包括 Andrew 应该会唱歌吧
Andrew，我们要逼他上台哦。
没有啦，我唱歌普普通通，
普普通通啊！哎，你们不是说甘波会唱歌吗？怎么甘波没有报名的、啊？
对哦对
甘波
哦，
博士啊，
甘博士应该要跟他讲一声啊。
对啊，明天就到
最近
了。
很多单进，他全部报单中心，他最近全部谈报单中心了。
厉害厉害厉害
最近
厉害厉害
他讲很！多单，每天都在谈报单中心，给他冲一下，
要冲一下，
他上高级经理。
很快了，很快了，一上到高级经理要上总监就很快了
对对
对，
啊，因为经理到高级经理的话呢，他是有一段路
总监了，所以他要快点了。
哦，
他下面几个总监，等一下，
几个总监啊，
他很急啊，现在。
所以真的要